U.S. banks are facing a false sense of comfort amid rising signs of credit stress, says a banking regulator. At the same time, you should be paying attention to the cycle of cryptos. If you want to get rich this season, make sure you watch this part of the video. And also, about 69% of the Bitcoin supply remains unmoved for over a year. What does that mean, and what does that mean for you exactly, and how do we make the best of this opportunity, which arises from these numbers? But at the same time, so much is happening, guys. The Bitwise CEO calls for a multi-year bull market starting now as institutional investors are eyeing up Bitcoin, and everything coincides with that story. 2.3 billion, trillion asset management giant registers for a crypto custody license in France. At the same time, we've got legendary investor Jim Rogers issuing a global economic warning, saying the next bear market will be the biggest in his lifetime. And at the same time, guys, and we'll be covering this in depth, a couple who retired early with $4.3 million says the FIRE, which we're going to talk about later, lifestyle is wearing thin. We don't want to just keep throwing money on the pile and keep being cheap. Because one very difficult but important thing about getting this money with crypto is knowing how to utilize it properly. And also, going to give you guys some insights as to how to manage your money properly so you get the most out of it this bull run. Anyway, right now in the crypto markets, what's going on? Well, over on the weekly, we've got some double-digit gains for almost everything in the Bitcoin ecosystem. Taking a look at that, we've got Bitcoin up 15% this week. Bitcoin Cash 80% up. ICP up, significant stacks, our Bitcoin layer 2 of sorts, 35% up, and a lot of these things are doing amazing. At the same time, meme coins, funny enough, are also doing pretty nicely, but they're memes. Enough said, I think. Generally speaking, our cryptos are not doing too amazing. I mean, over the last day, not really much gains at all, mostly coins going down. And over the week, there are a couple of coins like Cardano that are outperforming and Ethereum that are outperforming, but it's a whole mixed bag with XRP going down slightly, BNB going down slightly. Then again, we also have got a couple of juicers over at the top, like I said, in the multi-double digit gains. And a lot of these DeFi, like the old DeFi coins like Ava and like Curve and Lero, and a lot of others actually, are doing pretty well today as well, which is quite peculiar to watch. Anyway, like we've stated just now, the U.S. banks are facing a false sense of comfort amid rising signs of credit stress, says the banking regulator. One thing you got to understand is the potential in crypto. Right now, we are extremely bullish on a lot of cryptos that are taken over in the banking sector, like an XRP, but also like a Bitcoin that a lot of these major institutions just want to facilitate trade in or potentially just hold for a sense of security. And a big reason behind that is because the banking system is screwed. Now, I don't want to get too deep into articles like this. Best-selling author claims JP Morgan, Federal Reserve, and Ethereum colluded to harm XRP. But hopefully you understand already that indeed, for a bank and for a lot of other cryptos, they don't want other cryptos to succeed. They do not want technology to succeed that they don't make money on. That's why banks have really been turning against crypto for the most part. In almost all of history, they've been against crypto. Right now, things are changing because the big money is entering the crypto space. Here's a $2.3 trillion asset management giant registering for a crypto custody license. There's two things which are happening. One, BlackRock and all these major institutions and banks, they want to make sure that they can make fees off of every other institution buying Bitcoin. That just makes sense. They don't have to hold it themselves. They just make money off of all the transfers. But anyway, like we've been saying, one of Europe's largest asset servicing groups has recently been granted the license by the financial market regulator, Autorité de Marge Financier, the AMF, to provide crypto custody services in France. According to a new press release, Casais Bank, the Casais Group's banking arm in France, just received a PSAN, Prestataire de Services sur Actifs Numériques status from the AMF, which allows a financial institution to operate as a crypto asset custodian authorized by store users' private keys. I'm not sure why I said buy, it's two. All right, so to be able to store users' private keys, basically allowing them to hodl crypto for the people, like also Coinbase has been doing. If you guys didn't know, BlackRock is trying to file for this ETF that actually utilizes Coinbase custody. And so these are the two main things that these major providers want. To be able to hold crypto for people and make money on that, or to be able to buy and sell to facilitate the transfer in cryptos, because that way they're not completely associated, but they are. If you guys get the drift. They don't have to get the volatility of it to make money on it. Apparently, this is one of the only ones, or actually the only one, that got the special license, I'd say, from France. And if you want to understand just how huge this is, Casais is owned by banking giants Crédit Agricole, or Crédit Agricole, and Santander, right? Which again, even though there's been some hiccups with them and Ripple, specifically for XRP, Santander is involved, all right? And they've been involved in the crypto space for a good while. But they basically, Santander, skipped out on XRP for a little bit because it was not traded in enough markets. But I still believe that it is actually coming up. And again, following Brad Garlinghouse's quote, he hinted that banks would soon be less wary of working with digital assets once the regulators, referring to U.S. watchdogs, understand you're not circumventing regulatory frameworks. They get very comfortable very quickly. Right now, again, I think this lawsuit is holding them back. To get back to what we were talking about before, guys, before we move on, make sure you press that like button right now. I know the last couple of videos I've not been saying that, and I noticed the likes really go down a lot. So please, let's try to hit the maximum amount of likes today, just to see how much we can get. Is it going to be 500, 1,000, 17,000? No, I don't think that many, but let's just see for fun how many we can get if everybody presses that button. Do it for the plant, you know? It's definitely real, definitely. Now, two things have to connect here. One is we were just talking about institutional money coming in. These guys are going to first go for Bitcoin, then for either Ethereum or XRP, something at the top, and then diversify further down the road. But it depends, because for custody providers, they probably just want as much as possible, as soon as possible. For the ETFs, they most likely want the most tradable and most non-risky from a regulatory perspective things, because every single time you file for an ETF and it gets denied, it does not look good on your record. So they want to go for things that are almost certain. Right now, the only thing in the US that's easy to go for is Bitcoin, which is still not easy, but easiest. The second best thing is Ethereum for right now, but I think that's going to change because Ethereum is still being hunted by guys like Gary Gensler, and XRP is in an active lawsuit. But the moment that they win, that could be the best opportunity for these funds to move their money into it, or see it from two perspectives. One, to adopt it in terms of ETFs, or second, because of the utility that XRP has, actually get more of it going, like we just saw with the Santander and banks like that. Now understand that also that is not only for the institutional money, that's the same for the actual retail money, for the money from you and I. I've said multiple times in the past, if you want to make a lot of money, you have to be a little bit more, not sure which word exactly I wanted to use, but just more open to risk. Here's, for example, this couple who had millions of dollars, but still was on this saving money, let's not do any too crazy things mindset, which is fine if you're trying to get to a certain saving goal or whatever. And I personally have made a lot of finance videos where I explain that saving money and living a little bit frugal can help a lot of people. But I still now know from being in the crypto space for a decade and working on, I guess as a content creator for also a little more than a decade, I think 13 years now. Plus being in finance for so long, you understand one thing, and that is scared money don't make no money. All right, that's the simplest way I can put it. If I had risked more money in multiple of these cycles, right? Because there's bull markets every single time. You know the amount of extra money I would have had right now? And there are people, my peers around me, right? Some people, potentially as young as 18 years old, who just know that the risk you're taking right now, the younger you are, the easier it is, I know. But the risk you're taking right now is so worth it in the end. Because let's say you started with $1,000, right? Many people have this idea of, oh, I've saved up $1,000, let's put that on the side. Well, yay. What's that $1,000 going to do for you? Okay, if you need an emergency fund because you need to buy a dishwasher, no, it's not important. So some new washing machine or something like along those lines, which most of them are not so important. But let's say a new fridge, right? Because that's pretty important. Okay, that's very important. Same thing for a car, same thing for that type of stuff. But let's say your basic needs and your little supply of safety net is figured out. The extra money you're getting, well, if you're not really putting it to use in terms of risk, I still think that you're missing out because now there's no opportunity to 10x or 100x your money. You're just going to keep working the same job and potentially $1,000. Now I have $2,000. Oh, now I have like $2,500 after another year. After another year, you save up $1,000 or so. It's not really going to get you anywhere. And even my family, some of them don't understand that to really get millions of dollars, you need to risk thousands, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. And to really get to the tens or hundreds of millions, you have to just risk an equivalent amount of money. That's just how it's done. I don't know any single millionaire, but let's just call it people with more than $100 million that hasn't lost let's just call it millions of dollars in the process. Because some people actually got rich very quickly by investing 100,000, getting 100 million out of it. So it's a little bit of an iffy-wiffy. But still, those have invested into many things that failed. Point being, if I got $1,000, and it goes away, the $1,000 I'll make again, but I might never get the opportunity to turn it into 100x again. This does not mean go gamble. That is not what this means. This means understand that some risk is very much worth it. Even if you've only got a 50% chance of winning, if then the win basically gives you a 10x, 20x, 30x, and the loss only makes you lose your money, very often it can still be worth it because that money, the $1,000, you'll make again. But that's just my thoughts on the situation. So the reason I showed this is because a lot of the people are not moving their money right now, which I think is fine as long as you're ready for the bigger bull market. As long as you're ready and prepared for just things to hit the fan in the normal markets, in the major markets, a massive bear market might come. And people have said, well, these risk-on assets like Bitcoin, cryptos in general, people are going to move their money out quickly. Well, you understand that that's exactly what BlackRock and all these major institutions have been preparing for, right? They know two things can happen. One is people go crazy out of crypto, which means they've got themselves a juicy entry and the perfect moment to start this ETF because that means prices are lower. More institutions are going to try to buy in at these cheap prices, and that way they can make more money off of all these transfers. But also on the opposite side, they're doing this slightly before shit's just going to hit the fan in the major markets. And that might mean, again, that a lot of people are not going to be satisfied with the dollar, the US dollar, with the converged financial system, with their investments. And so they're going for another sort of asset, another sort of class, which could again be crypto. Again, very, very bullish for these major institutions. Why do you think all these guys are entering at the same time? It's because they know things are about to go absolutely wild. And as I've said before, I believe that right now, the way to go about it is just to kind of diversify your way down. So start out with the major caps, and then the more of the bull market that we enter, go down lower into the riskier cryptos, and understand that you shouldn't put all your eggs into one basket. You shouldn't put all your money into the current trend, but also think about what potential trends might be next. Again, I think the start of this major bull run that's going to last for the next couple of years has already started, and I'm extremely bullish on it. I think cryptos that are extremely juicy are going to be coins like XRP, but also potentially coins like Stacks, which are in the Bitcoin ecosystem, which have gotten a lot of attention recently. There are also my normal juicers like IOTA, for example, and Quant, and for example, fundamental coins like Chainlink. There's just so many good cryptos out there that I hold for either fundamental reasons or because I believe that technology, like again, in the Bitcoin ecosystem, might just get a crazy pump the next season. For example, right now, I think looking into ordinals is extremely juicy. Then again, I've also been sharing over on Twitter that one thing you might really want to look into a lot is to join multiple different discords to make sure you also are able to get into all these different airdrops if they ever come up, like for example with Sui. Then again, guys, right now, one thing I'll tell you is join my Discord. A link is down below. I'm gonna actually put a link down below properly there because I'm gonna be sharing so much extra stuff in there for completely free, no cost, $0, obviously. But I want you guys to join it though and make sure you talk in there. Make sure you interact with the community. Again, what I'm going to try to do is build an army of millionaires. Maybe an army of more than that, but I just want to make sure that everybody in the community gets answers to their questions. So if you guys can help each other, that would be amazing. And I think about it like this. You want to get your news, that's why you come here, right? Or you want to get some updates, maybe you like something else about the show or the channel, that's fine. But in the process, if you could get so much more by either making money because people are explaining things to you better, or because you guys are sharing cool opportunities, or you guys are sharing the news even quicker in a little group of sorts, why shouldn't we do that, right? And I think a lot of people are still looking for good context and good ways to connect. So I think Discord is one of the best ways. And also, in there, again, we can explain things like airdrops a little bit more in depth. That's why I'm still going to be looking for a couple of helpers in there. People who are just really good at crypto stuff. But yeah, that will come in due course as more and more people, I guess, are interested in this sort of group, a little bit of a mastermind group of sorts. Again, no cost, just everybody joining in. Perhaps if I charged, it would have been better because then you have more motivated people, but it's going to be free. If we want to make another group of sorts in the future, we'll see about that. Right now, I just want to make sure people have a way to bundle together and hopefully mastermind to make more money, make more cool things happen, even projects. Hey, I want people to go in there together and build cool things, even on the XP Ledger, even in crypto, or maybe outside of that, because I think there's so much potential in a lot of you guys watching. Not everybody, but you watching this right now, you're thinking, yeah, I want to make more money, or I want to make this, or I want to do some cool stuff. Just join and see, because I think a lot of cool things will be bred there. That sounds really weird, but I think a lot of cool things will start up from the ground from our Discord soon enough, so make sure you're there to enjoy it all. Anyway, guys, make sure you put the notification bell on, because what if something crazy happens tomorrow? What if Ripple finishes the lawsuit or something like that? You want to be notified. And these types of videos, I won't make every day, talking more about the mindset and talking more about things that are happening to get you back into control. But every now and then, it is extremely important that I go over it because a lot of people don't understand. I've been through so many cycles, and the worst thing to do is to sit back and think, my money will just go up magically. No, you have to be active, and you have to understand the more risk you take, the more money you can also make. And so very often, the money that you're investing, you'll make again if it goes wrong, but you might never get the opportunity again. And that's it.